All right, g'day, hi and welcome. Now, I'm not just making videos so I can procrastinate from doing a resharpening. But anyway, I want to talk about the job I did today a little bit. I just did 2 videos on it. I don't know if anybody will watch them or care, but I did. But how I approach that job, with one of my regular clients, I've been cutting with this saw and this saw. I've been cutting I don't know how many trees I've cut with these 2 saws in the past, month or so, month and a half that I've owned them. They've probably fallen better part of it. Well, that one's a better part of like a dozen or so more trees, maybe 2 dozen trees. Yeah, probably about 2 dozen trees with that one. Probably about a dozen with that one. Stumps, that's probably gotten about 50 stumps already, like little stumplets, little stumplets. That one, big stumps, I did 3 or 4 big stumps with it, but because I don't do the little stuff, because if I'm going to put a chain into the ground once in a while, sorry, buddy, I'm so sorry, or hit metal with it, sorry, I'm so sorry. Or like when mini Manitoba maple stumplets wear body armor. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, so you get the idea. So these saws have gotten a lot of work. I even cut raspberry briars with it, bushels, pruned a couple of trees. I mean, they just go and they go and they go. It's just the handiest little tools. But each job that I do with it, whether it's following a tree or dealing with stuff near close to the ground, okay, maybe my track record near fences and barrels are not the best. But every other time it's really good. Yeah. So the point is that you take your time with it. What I find is, and you'll see this probably, the more experienced guys out there will probably have noticed this too, is like you get the homeowner, he's got a tree like that, that's got to come down, and he goes buys a little saw like this secondhand with a dull chain. It's different when you know that you've dulled the chain, but when you don't know that you got to resharpen the chain, and some people don't know that you actually, this doesn't stay sharp forever. And they think they're going to take down something like that. They get themselves into trouble, right? Next thing you know, it's either falling on the house or, this saw, usually the good news is they'll start cutting with it and they'll cut at the wrong spot and the tree will rest back on the saw and the saw just stays stuck in the tree until somebody with more experience can actually come and do the right job. But the point is whether I'm using this, let's go look at some of the bigger saws. Yeah, I know they're not monsters, but they're, they're bigger, I mean, if you see the size of trees I follow with those little guys, you should see what I do with this thing. Like my dad's Johnsert here. Somebody was commenting on that little Johnsert the other day. Yeah, I'd like to get it running. My dad's trying to get it running for my brother. Better not cut my dad's chair. But anyway, there's big heffalump here. All 18 pounds of it. 18, 19 pounds of it. Like if I'm using this thing is, like I say, it's heavier. It's got a 20-inch bar on there, 18, 20, I'm pretty sure it's 20-inch. This thing is pretty heavy, and if I'm following a big tree, regardless of the tree, I take my time with this thing. I take my time even with the little guys. The little guys are worse because they're lighter. With the big guys, you got something in your hand and it fatigues you quicker. So you tend to not go as gung-ho. But I know guys that get really big saws because they have the money to get the really big saws. So they go get the really big saws, which I have no problem. But they don't have the, they've never used a saw before in their life. And I'll grab Sasquatch here. Can't wait to get him up running really good. But anyway, he needs a sharpening anyway, so I might as well bring him out too. But you get guys that they'll buy a saw even like this. Like I forget what this guy comes in right around 15, 16 pounds with the 16-inch bar on it. And they get in over their heads really quick because they don't plan anything out. They're like, go, we got to follow this tree in 5 minutes, right? Well, I'll take a half an hour just looking at a damn tree, you know what I mean? Or more. It's like, okay, well, walk from this angle, walk from that angle. It's like you see the tree, you know, we'll get into this here. So yeah, there we go, got Sasquatch. Can't wait to get him working again. I did do work with him, but last year. So like you're right here, you're looking at the top of the tree, you can see the lean, you see most of the branches are on the other side. You know you're really going to go that way, right? Okay, this tree, you know, both these trees are actually backling this way towards the house. So this one, you can get it to go there without touching the house at all. But, oh, what about that? Oh, that could hit the deck. Oh, hey, that one, when that comes down, that might, you know, if that tree goes a little bit that way, it's going to take off the corner of the house. Oh, shit. I didn't think about that. Okay, well, what about, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now let's go stand over there. Let's see if we can reconfirm that. Right? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, what about that? Oh, that one up there would definitely hit. You know, and if that tree there went the wrong way, it's definitely going to come right down to the center of the house because all the branches are bringing the weight this way. Why? Because the sun's on, you know, the morning sun right there. The morning sun comes up. The southern part of the trajectory. Blind you guys a bit, blind myself. Yeah, so we know the weight's on this side of the tree predominantly. So we know that these trees want to come this way. Right? So I don't want to rush cutting something like that. You know, someday those trees are going to have to come down when they die. You know what I mean? I hope that's a long time. I hope I'm long dead and gone before that. I don't have to deal with that pain in the ass, right? But you can see what I mean. Oh, okay, you stand here. Oh, yeah, it is leaning even more. You know, and that looks like if you were to cut that, if you cut it the wrong way, the tree could swing and you literally take out my kitchen, right? Oh, yeah, look at this. Wow. So you see what I mean? You start taking time to look at stuff. Suddenly you have to come up with a plan. But before you come up with a plan, first you got to be handsome. I got it covered. Anyway, so whether you're a little guy like this, mini beast, a tree tangerine, or Sasquatch, or Sasquatch, emphasis on the Sasquatch. All right, so this tree, I cut a tree with this the first time I cut. Probably a little bit bigger than the rim here. You know, so that's about 16 inch. So that was probably his first tree that he knocked down. Manitoba maple. Thing was growing sideways, you know what I mean? Typical Manitoba maple. Got him down without any problem. Started sawing into it and all that. But the stump, okay, wasn't down there. The stump, because there was a fence and all that shit, the stump was like up height here. Not fun cutting at that kind of height. So, you know, I had to set myself up to be able to cut at that height. And, you know, nothing dangerous about that at all, right? So when people rush into stuff like that, they get into all kinds of troubles. So they think, okay, well, I got a small saw, I'm cutting small stuff, I'm not going to get into trouble. You'll get little tiny little trees. Let's go look at our beech or oak, and there's one oak in there, and the other ones are let's call it not beech nut. Hey, little frogger. Oh, he's a bouncy little guy. But like littler trees like this, but these are hard trees here. Okay, yeah, that splitter right there, that's the one that would mess a noob up for sure. So like a tree like this, pretty easy to get it to go pretty much any direction you want. There's a bit of lean this way, but let's say my poor uncle's truck here, which I will restore one day. I could get him to go that way. Might put a tether line on him, whatever. You know, you could even wedge them. You could probably easily get that top to get over there and blah, blah, blah. But if you didn't plan it out, you'd easily fall it on the truck, right? Now this one can do a lot of crazy things on you. I don't ever remember this thing splitting in half. Where the hell did the second one come from? Really? Should pay attention to the trees on my properties. Well, it's not my property, but folks' property, but still, you know, still. But this one, yeah. So guy looks at I'm going to cut this down, and he doesn't know what he's doing, and he tries to cut the whole thing, and the thing sits on his saw. He's like, okay, what's going on here? And he tries to push it, and the barber chair's on him. You know, even little guys like this can be very, very, very dangerous. Or, you know, like they don't look at the tops to see the widow makers. I got a perfect example of a widow maker. And again, these are the reasons why you don't rush with a chainsaw. Even if you're working with a guy that's okay, we got to get this done. We got to tell him to fuck off, because like it's like, no, that's not how you do saw work, man. It's like those go guys, right? These are the guys that are usually the statistics. Now, if you understand working with a chainsaw, yeah, you can see the Widowmaker from here. So if you're working with a chainsaw and you're doing bush work, it's one of the top 5 most dangerous jobs in the world. You're within 7 years, you're bound to have a major accident in the bush. I'll tell you about the dangers in the next video, but you can see that the top of this birch broke off a while back. You can see it's just hanging there. Now, when you go to fall that could shake loose and come down on you, right? So you start bulling, ripping and tearing because you have to have it done in 5 minutes. No, explain to your clients, explain to whoever that you got to take your time with this to be safe. If they can't get that, give the job to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like you're working for the wrong people if that's the case. I know there's the bravado, mano a mano stuff, but you know, there's no point in getting yourself killed doing something that's avoidable. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to, talk about the dangers in the next video.